Sony and Honda are teaming up to make EVs by the end of 2025. Sony Honda Mobility's new brand is called Afeela, and it's essentially a PlayStation on wheels. If you made it out to the live stream last night, thank you so much. We finally have official details of this vehicle coming from Sony Honda Mobility, aka Afeela at this point in time. One of the most impressive things to me when I was watching this, not only do they have a new design, and we'll play with that in a little bit, but they have a total of 45 cameras and sensors inside and outside the vehicle. And Sony Honda Mobility will develop a production model based on this exact prototype, and pre-orders are planned to begin in the first half of 2025, sales by the end of 2025, and delivery from spring in 2026 in North America. My guess is maybe Japan gets it first, sometime by the end of 2025, even though I believe these vehicles are going to be made here in North America's Honda plants. They will also be using chips from Qualcomm. They're also teaming up with Epic Games. Like, this is going to be an epic vehicle, very much unlike anything we've seen before. It has a silhouette that's a little turtle-ish, and the front end reminds me a lot of the GV60 from Genesis. But this cabin, and you have LiDAR on the top, by the way, that's what this almost little hood scoop at the top or roof scoop looks like. But this turtle-ish design looks very roomy on the inside. We have an unconventional steering wheel, so this is more of a steering yoke. And you can just see screens everywhere, digital rearview mirror, digital side mirrors. And by the time it comes to America, it'll probably have side mirrors instead of digital side mirrors. But you just see a full panel here. That is essentially just one big screen. But details on Afeela is also on their main site. So I'm going to play a couple videos for you guys showing Afeela in action. This customizable screen up front is unlike anything we've seen. I made a video on my other channel talking about BMW's e-ink, where you can kind of customize the paint in like 32 or 34 different patches throughout the vehicle. But this like interactive screen on the front is pretty cool, and I feel like it is drawing us into an era of like Knight Rider, where the car is going to be able to talk to us in ways it's never been able to before, for better or for worse, right? You also see these little air dams here that are open and closable to help with either airflow for the radiator to cool the batteries, or to close down for better aerodynamics. You also see a little camera there, which, like I said, cameras, sensors are everywhere on this vehicle. Do you like the looks of it? I think the wheels are really neat and they look extremely aerodynamic while looking futuristic and minimal at the same time. And the rear tail lights, this is the best look I've actually seen of it. Match the front end, kind of like that visor or light bar on the front and the rear, which is kind of like an industry standard at this point. And then you have a glass roof with that LiDAR on the front of it. It looks pretty good from this angle. And on the interior, it's extremely minimal. A few buttons on the steering wheel, and they don't look to be touch capacitive. Hopefully they're actual physical buttons. And you also have a rotary dial here to navigate. Now there's also a couple more buttons on the armrest, one to open it up, and another one right here. I'm not quite sure what this would be. Maybe a volume up and down. And the buttons here look to be touch capacitive right underneath the screen for the climate control. Overall, I think the design is a big step up from the concepts, the Vision 1 and the Vision 2 concepts that they had at CES these past few years. This car is looking closer and closer to production, even though those vehicles in the past couple of years look like production-ready cars. So what do you guys think? I can't wait to see this vehicle on the roads. I can't wait to drive it one day. We're not that far away. What, early 2023, and it'll be out by early 2026, so 3 years from now. And I'm excited to see what changes are going to be made to this vehicle between now and then. And we know nothing about motors. We know nothing about battery packs, because between now and then, technology is going to continue to evolve. I think they'll use batteries from LG that will be made in Ohio alongside of Honda's batteries. So that makes the most sense to me. And probably use Honda powertrains, or should I say electric motors, inverters, etc. as well. I don't see why they would need to source from somewhere else. We do have dimensions here on the vehicle. You have the length, width, height, wheelbase. That is a pretty large wheelbase. Let's say the BZ4X is at like 112, if I remember correctly. And that wheelbase, 118, I think is 2 inches bigger than even like a Tesla Model S, for example, and even bigger than the Volkswagen ID7 that was just revealed. All-wheel drive seems to be standard here. We do have tire sizes, which is quite interesting. 245s on the front and 275 on the rear, telling us that it is going to have a bias towards rear-wheel drive performance, at least in concept form, but I don't see why that would change in the production form. We have a multi-link suspension in the rear, double wishbone in the front. That's great for handling and ride quality as well. So those specs are actually more than what I was expecting. But what do you want to see in terms of specs, range, power? I mean, don't imagine this vehicle in terms of technology here in 2023. Imagine this vehicle as a cutting edge technology piece coming in 2026. I also did not talk about the screens here, where you're going to be able to play PlayStation games, watch movies. It should be quite the experience. And are people going to be living in the cars? Are you going to cancel all of your subscription services and just have your Sony car where you watch your TV shows, your movies, you play your games inside here? It's kind of, I wish this thing was bigger so you could, make it an easier place to live in. Also, a big question mark is, how is this going to fit into Honda and Acura's vision? No pun intended, because the Sony concepts in the past were called vision concepts. But isn't it strange that you're going to have this super high-tech vehicle made by Honda, not called a Honda or an Acura? Meanwhile, Honda wants to be fully electric by 2040. And Acura surely will be fully electric before then. I guess it's good to have different ways of marketing your brand. But let me know, would you be most interested in an Afeela, a Honda, or an Acura if they're all electric? I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. I'll definitely update you on Afeela as we get more information from Sony and Honda. Probably going to be very slow going in terms of new information. So probably next CES, a full year from now, where we get more details on this future product. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more information coming out of CES as we go forward into 2023. I'm wishing you a happy new year, and I can't wait to share all the new cars and experiences that I have with them with you guys. Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves, and peace.